Welcome to the Jamul Casino Resort Padres Postgame Show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. Listen to Mike Shilt's postgame comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
First pitch, Fermin swings, lines it into center field. That'll do it. Freddie Fermin walks it off as Bryce Johnson scores, and the Padres are headed back to the playoffs in 2025.
It was never going to be easy, but the Padres walk it off in the best possible way.
An amazing, amazing finish here at Petco Park as the Padres storm their way to the 2025 postseason. What a ball game, what an ending, what a moment, and what a celebration for the San Diego Padres. Freddie Fermin, the hero in the bottom half of the 11th inning, a walk-off base hit, and the Padres beat the Milwaukee Brewers in an absolute classic here tonight by a final score of 5-4 in 11 innings. Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you from Petco Park as we begin our official postgame coverage after the awesome job by Jesse and Tony inside the clubhouse celebration. Quite frankly, I am soaked in champagne. I've got beer in my hair. I've got champagne all over me. But it's the greatest feeling you can have in this job. What a celebration. Well deserved. The Padres heading back to the postseason for 2 consecutive years for only the second time in franchise history, and they will have a chance now officially to bring the Padres' first World Series championship home to San Diego this October. A lot of work to do, a lot of steps to take, no doubt about it, but making the postseason, popping the champagne, celebrating the way they did tonight, that is step number one. And on top of that, what a game. I would say probably the game of the year here at Petco Park, a game that as it got later and later, and you consider the quality of team the Milwaukee Brewers have, the type of season they've had, it just felt like the Padres had to have it. It felt like a golden opportunity to put together an incredible win and charge into the postseason. Yes, the Padres last month or so, it's been up and down. We understand the record hasn't been what anybody in that clubhouse would have hoped over the course of the last month or so. But there's no denying that if you were here tonight, if you were part of the sold-out crowd at Petco Park tonight, you felt it. You felt it as it got later that this was a game the Padres almost just had to find a way to win and clinch it in real style. Charge into the postseason, and that's what this felt like here tonight. There are so many different aspects of this game to talk about. It was locked at 3, what seemed like forever. The Padres trailed 3-1. They ended up coming back to tie it. Then they fell behind 4-3. They come back to tie it again. And finally, Freddie Fermin, one of A.J. Preller's trade deadline acquisitions, comes through with the big hit in the bottom half of the 11th inning, and the Padres get a super memorable, pardon me if I stumble a little bit here, still catching my breath from downstairs, a super memorable win here on September 22nd, 2025. Really a special night, a special celebration, and this is step one. Padres have a lot of work to do. They all understand that inside that clubhouse, but there was a lot of joy inside that clubhouse, and rightfully so. This baseball season, every one of them, for every team, it's a long journey. These guys start this journey in Peoria, in Arizona, in early February, on the backfields. We're now in late September, and hopefully what should be a very fun next month or so started here tonight with the Padres clinching a postseason spot, and they will head to the playoffs in 2025. A lot to do on our post-game coverage. We'll get to all our normal stuff. Again, a great job by Jesse and Tony inside the clubhouse. Amazing interviews by Tony. If you haven't seen some of the footage we have on the 97.3 The Fan social media channels, I encourage you to go check it out there. Tons of video interviews from inside the clubhouse. So go check that out there as we go along through our post-game coverage here on the radio side of things. But we'll get to some of our normal segments here. We'll recap this game from start to finish. We should hear from Mike Shildt coming up a little bit later as well, and we will break down what was a very, very special night here in downtown San Diego as the Padres beat the Brewers 5-4 on Freddie Fermin's walk-off base hit in the bottom half of the 11th inning as the Padres clinch a postseason berth here in 2025. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the broadcast booth here at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Padres clinching a postseason berth here in 2025, a walk-off win in 11 innings as the Padres beat the Brewers 5-4. The Padres improved to 86-71. The Brewers dropped to 95-62. Of course, the Brew Crew clinching the NL Central title yesterday, and what a win for the Padres here tonight. What a moment. What a celebration. We're going to recap this game from start to finish in just a moment. I mean, what a doozy of a game. You want to talk about playoff type of feel, playoff type atmosphere. My goodness, that had exactly all of that here tonight. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is now open with a Lux Hotel Tower, rooftop pool, spa, and a long list of amazing amenities. You'll have more ways to play and enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Before we get to our game recap, I do want to answer a question that a lot of people had during the post-game celebration. We found out earlier today Fernando Tatis Jr. did not feel well when he woke up this morning. He was not in the lineup, and in fact, he wasn't here tonight. Fernando was not in the clubhouse celebration, sadly, because we know that Fernando, he likes those celebrations and always has a good time in the clubhouse popping the champagne. And who doesn't want to party, with Fernando after clinching a postseason berth? It always makes it more fun when Fernando's in there. But I will tell you, Manny Machado did have him on FaceTime. So Fernando got a little taste of it. Manny did have him on FaceTime. I did see that. The guys were talking to him. So Fernando was there over the phone. And hey, hopefully many more champagne celebrations for Fernando Tatis Jr. to be a part of here throughout the rest of this season, and hopefully well into October. What a ball game here tonight. Let's recap it from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, let's begin with what was a really, really, really good starting pitching matchup here tonight. Nick Pivetta against Freddie Peralta. After Pivetta tossed a 1-2-3 first inning, the Padres got to Peralta in the bottom of the first inning. They loaded the bases on a couple of singles and a walk. Then with 2 outs in the count, 2-2 on Jay Cronenworth, Peralta committed a balk. That scored a run with the bases loaded, and the Padres had an early 1-0 lead. But the Brewers rallied in the top of the second. They loaded the bases against Pivetta on 2 walks and a single. Caleb Durbin then hit an RBI single to make it a 1-1 game. Pivetta would get the second out of the inning, but the bases were still loaded for Christian Yelich.
1-0 from Pivetta in a 1-1 game. And a hard hit liner up the middle. That's into center and a base hit. Vaughn has scored. Collins on his way. The throw goes to second. Now over to third base and in time. And they will say the run does score, the second run.
So a 2 RBI single for Christian Yelich. That made it a 3-1 Brewers lead. Brewers scoring 3 runs in that second inning, and they would lead 3-1 for a bit. Freddie Peralta settled in. He got through 4 innings with just that early run allowed. Padres still trailed 3-1 going bottom 5. Jose Iglesias led off.
He delivers, and first pitch swinging. Jose Iglesias deep to left. Collins is back. It's going to go. Long home run to left for Iglesias. Only his second of the year, and he puts it into the second deck in left field. This is a 1-run game in the bottom of the 5th.
So Iglesias, his second home run of the year, as Jesse said, and my goodness, he hit it into the second deck and left. Did we know that Jose had that kind of pop? Made it 3-2. All the Padres scored in the bottom of the 5th inning. Peralta was done after 5. Pivetta pitched into the 6th inning. He would go 5 2/3 innings while allowing just those 3 runs in the second. Ron Marinaccio finished the top of the 6th inning. He got the first 2 outs of the 7th inning. Kyle Hart finished the scoreless 7th inning. So the Padres trailed 3-2 going to the bottom of the 7th inning. Brewers right-hander Nick Mears came on. Mears got the first 2 outs, but then he issued a walk to Jose Iglesias. Ramon Laureano pinch hit in the number 9 spot. He walked. There were runners on first and second. 2 men away. Padres down by 1 for Luis Arraez.
1-0 pitch, hit hard, on a line, up the middle, into center and a base hit. Iglesias rounding third. He's going to score, and Luis Arraez comes through. This game is tied in the 7th.
What a base hit. What a moment for a fired-up Luis Arraez. We were tied at 3-3. Padres had the go-ahead run in scoring position, but Manny Machado flew out to end the inning. A tie game at 3-3, going to the top of the 8th inning. That's going to be the theme here for the next few innings. Jeremiah Estrada came in. He got in trouble. He allowed a 1-out walk and a 2-out single. After a stolen base, but runners on second and third with 2 out, Estrada bounced back to strike out Joey Ortiz. To end the inning, the game was still tied at 3. Jared Koenig through a scoreless bottom of the 8th inning to keep it 3-3. Top 9, Robert Suarez entered. He pitched a scoreless inning. Padres then got a leadoff single for Bryce Johnson against Brewers righty Abner Uribe in the bottom of the 9th, but they did not score. So we went to the 10th inning, tied at 3. Adrian Morejon entered. Bryce Terang entered as the Brewers' automatic runner. He went to third on a fly out to right. The Padres then brought the infield in against the Brewers' Sal Frelick.
1-1 to Freeleg. Morejon kicks and deals, and a ground ball to short. Iglesias, unbelievable stop, turns and throws home, not in time. Turang slid head first, apparently ahead of the tag from Fermin. And if you're the Padres, you almost have to challenge this. Really no reason not to, but they will not.
Yeah, Padres did not challenge. The run did score. It was a 4-3 Milwaukee lead, but Morejon did a good job after that. Got out of the top of the inning with the deficit only at a single run. That was really important because lefty Rob Zastryzny came in for the Brew Crew in the bottom of the 10th inning. Luis Arraez at second base for the Padres to start the inning. Brewers elected to walk Manny Machado to start the inning, putting the tying and winning run on base. Jackson Merrill grounded into a fielder's choice. That got the tying run to third. Merrill safe at first base. There were runners on first and third, one out. Padres down 4-3 in the 10th inning. Gavin Shildt at the plate.
1-2. Here's the pitch, and Shildt swings. It's a sharp grounder first. Monasterio stabs it, throws to second, high in time, but Arraez able to score, and this game is tied in the bottom of the 10th inning.
That is a heck of a play from Monasterio.
Yeah, heck of a play by Monasterio. The throw high to second base. That allowed the run to come into score with no problem. It was a 4-4 game. Ryan O'Hearn then hit a 2-out single. That moved Shildt to third base, representing the winning run. Jake Cronenworth would walk. Bryce Johnson stepped in. Bases loaded. A chance to win it, but he grounded into a fielder's choice to end the inning. So we went to the 11th inning. Tied at 4. The 21-year-old Bradley Rodriguez came on for just his 5th appearance in the major leagues. Jake Cronenworth made an amazing diving stop to keep a run from scoring on a ball hit by Caleb Durbin. The Padres got the auto runner in a rundown between second and third and tagged him out as Durbin went to second. Then an infield single, then an intentional walk after the count went to 3-0 on Christian Yelich. So the Brewers in a 4-4 game 11th inning had the bases loaded, one out for Jackson Chourio. The count went to 3-2.
3-2 to Chourio. Here's the pitch from Rodriguez. Swung on, bounced over the mound. Fielded by the bag by Cronenworth. Hit second one. On to first in time, and a double play to end the inning. Rodriguez nearly tipped it. He missed it, and it went right to Cronenworth near second base, and an easy 2 to send us to the bottom of the 11th, tied at 4.
By far and away, the two biggest outs that Bradley Rodriguez has recorded in his very, very young major league career. Bottom 11, tied at 4. Grant Anderson on the mound for the Brewers. Bryce Johnson was the Padres' free runner at second base. Jose Iglesias got a sac bunt down. That moved Johnson to third. Winning run, 90 feet away from scoring. A 4-4 game. Bottom 11, it was up to Freddie Fermin.
First pitch, Fermin swings, lines it into center field. That'll do it. Freddie Fermin walks it off as Bryce Johnson scores, and the Padres are headed back to the playoffs in 2025.
It was never going to be easy, but the Padres walk it off in the best possible way.
What a win, what a finish, what a celebration here at Petco Park in front of another sold-out crowd, the 67th sellout of the season, 42,000 in the building, and they were ready to erupt all night long. They got the opportunity to do it. Final score in 11, the Padres 5 and the Brewers 4 in a game that felt every bit like a playoff game. The Padres bullpen absolutely sensational, and the Padres finding the big hit when they absolutely needed it in the bottom of the 11th inning from Freddie Fermin. Final totals here tonight for the Padres: 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. For the Brewers, 4 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. Padres improved to 86 and 71. The Brewers dropped to 95 and 62. Winning pitcher tonight, well deserved. First major league win for Bradley Rodriguez, who improves to 1-0. The losing pitcher was Grant Anderson, who drops to 2-6. How about that? The 21-year-old Bradley Rodriguez, on the night the Padres clinch a postseason spot, picks up his first major league win. It is well deserved. He somehow, some way got out of that bases loaded jam in the top of the 11th inning, and the Padres win this ball game. The champagne popped inside the clubhouse, and a lot of fun here at Petco Park on this Monday evening. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We'll hear what he had to say to the media following the Padres celebration inside the clubhouse. We'll get to our daily awards. I do want to give you an opportunity to call in here tonight. I know it's late. Nick Danucci doing an outstanding job back in our Kearney Mesa studios right now, staying on the air. He's been with us tonight since before 6 p.m. Nick's doing great. We're doing great here at Petco Park. I do want to get you involved on a night like this. Phone number is always 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call. Final score is the Padres clinch a postseason spot. The Padres 5 and the Brewers 4 in 11 innings here at Petco Park. Our postgame coverage continues after this. Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the broadcast booth here at Petco Park as we continue our post-game coverage, our champagne-soaked post-game coverage on this Monday night. The Padres clinching a postseason berth here in 2025 with a thriller, a 5-4 win in 11 innings. Freddie Fermin, the walk-off base hit in the bottom half of the 11th inning. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is a VIP gaming experience like no other with a Lux Hotel, a relaxing spa, and rooftop pool. Come enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, now open. Now, before we hear from Mike Shildt, we're going to hear what Mike had to say following the champagne celebration downstairs in the clubhouse in a second here. I do want to just share a story from the celebration. And by the way, there are still players and their families gathered on the field, enjoying some nice moments, taking photos on the field right now. So that is very, very nice here at Petco Park, even at this late hour. I do want to share a story with you because I've now had the privilege to be in, well, how many? I was in all of them last year. I've been in a few of these champagne celebrations now in my 4 seasons covering the Padres. But I will say I've never had quite the direct hit of champagne to my eyes. Now, I didn't go in any goggles, none of that. No goggles, no nothing. I did have my poncho on, which people on social media, they tell me, take off the poncho. I like the poncho. It keeps me at least a little dry. I like the look of it. It feels like it belongs in a champagne celebration. I'm team poncho, okay? But I will say this. Moment I walk in the clubhouse, I go to the right. I don't know who it was. It was a player. I'm not gonna rat out the player who it was, but I got a direct hit of champagne. I mean, it was direct hit. It was in my eyes. It was right, all celebratory, all in good fun. But, man, it got me right in the eyes. The moment I walked in, it took me a solid minute to see again. So the guys who wear goggles, they are absolutely onto something. You got to wear something. It was a direct hit. I couldn't see for like a minute in there as I was just standing there trying to rub out my eyes. And then finally I regained my vision and continued my work in there. But, oh, man, it stung. It stung. But a good kind of sting. Good kind of sting. Padres win it 5-4 against the Brewers in 11 innings. Let's go downstairs, back inside the clubhouse, here from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Grind, and I wonder how that affects how you guys are processing this and feeling now.
Yeah, I was talking to Dennis earlier. This hasn't, it's been not been a straight line, and it has been grindy, but it makes it even more special, right? Adversity is a true indicator of character and team resilience individually and then collectively, and it's a great achievement for the clubhouse. They deserve the credit. They're the ones that put their blood, sweat, and tears. And, when the guys were either banged up or going through tough stretches, the one thing that never wavered was the dedication to the ultimate goal, and that's to get to the playoffs and then, of course, go beyond that. Good opportunity, great opportunity. Also, congratulate just the entire Padre organization. One thing that's important to all of us, and one of the primary reasons I'm here is to create some sustained success and obviously ultimately win that World Series title for the city of San Diego and the organization. And, it's also another tribute to Mr. Seidler, to Peter, and the new ownership group, the Seidler family. It's a well-run organization. On the business side, it's well-run. The fan base, the game experience, the group puts together is amazing. And then, we got to give DJ a ton of credit. We did our part and kept things in a place where he could justify investing in the team, and he more than did that and put us in a good position. And the player development department, hats off to that group. A lot of contributions. Gradually getting his first big league win tonight, coming up through the system, and you're looking throughout with Berger and Cole. Those guys are big parts of this club as well, and guys have come up. Obviously Jackson, again, and Morgan coming up and helping us this year. So getting those contributions. Rory Hone clearly been big, a homegrown guy, and it's just player development. There's a lot of credit, obviously scouting, and then lastly, the staff. It's been a staff that has persevered and shown up every day with a real sincere dedication to the preparation and the attention to detail, and no one's taken a pitch off, and it adds up, and it's added up to us being in the playoffs.
What did it mean for Freddie to get the hit, given that, like everything that happened at the trade deadline this season, what that has meant for your roster, and how fitting was it for it to end the way it did?
It was there was some sweetness to that clearly for Freddie. It also speaks to, he didn't start the game, and all hands are on deck almost every night. And he shows up and in a big moment and is ready to go play and compete. And I love the fact that he gets in that moment and, you could tell that, he was just going to be on it and just took a nice, easy stroke and obviously brought it home.
There were a lot of things that you probably didn't want to discuss before you clinched, but now that you have clinched, how do you feel like this roster is set up for what challenges wait in October?
I think it's set up very nicely. that starts with the pitching. And so Nick was a Warrior tonight. He'll be set up for most likely game one if we end up having to play next Tuesday. But we'll figure that out as we go. Darvish is rounding into form. Michael was good the other day, and we'll we'll figure out the best way to get those guys ready and see what roles they're in. Dylan's going to pitch on Thursday, and then of course our bullpen's in a good spot. And we're still looking to go compete because we still have some unfinished business this season and to accomplish some team goals. We're going to do it in a manner that is giving guys a break and giving guys an opportunity to get ready as well. So we'll be in concert of giving guys the right opportunity and the rest, and still competing to take down more wins. And then offensively, I love our lineup. Bogey getting back tomorrow. It's going to be big for us, and getting him out there and getting back into his rhythm. It's a good time for it, right number of games, 4 or 5, depending on what he wants to get at bats and feel. And then, we'll be rested and ready to rock.
Just checking Wednesday for season.
Yes, sir.
Didn't see Tatis in the post-game celebration, which is a little bit different. Maybe an update on him?
Just really sick, not feeling great. Talked to him. May stay away tomorrow as well, just to make sure it gets behind him. I think we have the luxury of doing it and not pushing him, but it's a big miss not having him here to celebrate because, quite frankly, there's a lot of reasons we're here, and Toddy's a big reason. This guy has played as much as he's ever played in his career, and he's done an exceptional job, and helped us win games in a lot of different ways.
Obviously, like right where you are right now, you're in, and that's the most important thing. There are other goals you can attain, division or even like a home series. You're not going to, I think, attack those too hard given what you just said. But how do you view what there is still left to attain, knowing that this was the real kind of
we're gonna we're gonna still go. I mean, we show up to compete regardless of who's on the field, and the good news is we're going to be able to give some guys some opportunities, put guys in a place where they can appropriately get some rest and still stay sharp. But by no mistake, don't kid yourself. We expect to go compete tomorrow, and that division title is still on the line, and there's no reason why we should back down now. Let's go grab it.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt following this 5-4 win for the Padres against the Brewers in 11. Yeah, good to see Fernando on FaceTime for a little bit down there. Hopefully he's feeling better. Obviously, you'd expect, well, not expect, but you would not be surprised if maybe he's out of the lineup again tomorrow because the Padres have now clinched. Yes, there are other goals. The Padres could hypothetically still win the division. They could hypothetically catch the Cubs and host a wild card series. They're going to need a lot of help, even if they won out. So you never know, but certainly step one, the most important thing that was on the to-do list over the course of the last couple of weeks, that was get into the dance, and the Padres are there, and that was Padres manager Mike Shildt after today's game and today's celebration inside the Padres clubhouse. We'll step aside. We've got phone lines lighting up. I do want to make sure I get you involved here on the post-game coverage. You've heard from Jesse and Tony and all the players and me, but on a night like this, I do want to let you get involved and sound off, Padres fans, on how you're feeling right now. Phone number 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call. We'll get to your phone calls and much, much more after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building. I'm not inside the Western Metal Building. I'm actually in the broadcast booth here at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Padres win it 5-4 in 11 to clinch a postseason berth. Hey, it's been a long night. A lot going on behind the scenes here. Nick Danucci doing a great job inside our San Diego studios. We will get to your phone calls here in a little bit. 833-288-0973. Phone number to call, 833-288-0973. We do have the phone lines all packed up right now. That's not the right word. Not packed up. All lit up right now. So our lines are full. That's the word I'm looking for. Lines are full right now. So as we go through callers, you might be able to get in if you're getting a busy tone right now. But lines are full. We will start taking your phone calls here in just a little bit. First, let's hear tonight's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
3-2 to Churio. Here's the pitch from Rodriguez. Swung on, bounced over the mound. Fielded by the bag by Cronenworth. Hit second one. On to first in time, and a double play to end the inning. Rodriguez nearly tipped it. He missed it, and it went right to Cronenworth near second base, and an easy 2 to send us to the bottom of the 11th, tied at 4.
Yeah, that double play had to be the catch of the game. You talk about a defensive play that made all the difference. Now I'm going to talk about one other defensive play earlier in that inning that was flashier, but I felt like the double play to end the 11th. I mean, my goodness, what a huge moment. 3-2 the count on Churio. Bases loaded, a tie game 4-4, a spot where a walk brings in a run, a hit brings in 2 or 3 or 4 runs, and Rodriguez gets out of it with a double play. Great job by Jake Cronenworth, and that ended up getting Rodriguez out of the inning and got the Padres to the bottom half of the 11th inning, tied at 4. The other play I do want to just mention, though, Jake Cronenworth to start that inning with Durbin at the plate and a runner on second base, nobody out. He made an outstanding diving play. Then they ended up getting the runner Monasterio caught between second and third. Durbin in the process went to second, but if Jake Cronenworth doesn't grab that, doesn't make that diving play, and it goes into the outfield, Brewers take a lead in all likelihood on that ball off the bat of Durbin. So that was equally as big of a play from Jake Cronenworth. He made that play in the 11th inning. Then he started the double play in the 11th inning. Just an absolutely stellar job by Jake Cronenworth defensively at second base in that top of the 11th inning. Let's tell you about tonight's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Relief pitcher of the game tonight, we really could go a number of different directions with this. I mean, the bullpen was so good. Consider this. The bullpen tonight ended up going 5 1/3 innings with no earned runs given up on a grand total of 3 hits between Marinaccio, Hart, Estrada, Suarez, Morejon, and Rodriguez. I'm almost tempted to do something we don't normally do, which is just give a group award to everybody tonight because I thought everybody played a role in this win. Although, you know who I'll actually give it to? I'm going to give it to Robert Suarez tonight for this reason. You know, Robert comes in. It's a 3-3 game, top of the 9th inning. The Padres had just stranded a runner on in the 8th inning. They had stranded an opportunity, 2 on in the 7th inning to take a lead. And Suarez had to face the very top of the Milwaukee lineup in the 9th inning. Yelich, Churio, and Terang. Got him 1-2-3 and struck out Churio and Terang. So that was stellar work by Robert Suarez. We'll give it to him here tonight. Robert Suarez, our relief pitcher of the game. But make no mistake, the whole bullpen tonight was great. Marinaccio, Hart, Estrada, Suarez, Morejon, Rodriguez. Again, they combined to give up the one unearned run, the automatic runner in the 10th inning. That was it. Over the course of 5 1/3 innings tonight, Rodriguez, the huge double play. He had a big, big moment in this game, like we've discussed. But everybody in the bullpen did a great job tonight. But we'll give our relief pitcher of the game to Robert Suarez. All right, let's get you involved here. 833-288-0973 as we approach midnight here in California. What a night. It's one of those nights we stay on with you late. We're happy to do it. Let's begin things on the phones. Let's go to Austin calling in. Austin, you're on the Padres Radio Network with Sam Levitt from Petco Park. Go ahead.
Hey, Sam. I got two things. The first thing is, Padre fans, we want to give you props for everything you've done all season. Without you, we wouldn't really be able to listen to games on the road or anything like that. And I really think you deserve the flowers that you really need.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate it very much.
And then the second one, they took my question at the interview, but I was going to ask you the same thing. How did it feel for someone like Freddie Fermin to get the game-winning hit and to clinch the division?
Yeah, a great question, Austin. Look, that's a huge moment for Freddie, and appreciate the phone call. That's a huge moment for Freddie. I mean, good for him to come in as somebody who was traded at the deadline, obviously had a big impact early on. Offensively, it's been quieter the last month or so after he got off to that really hot start after the trade. But he's done a really nice job. And for Freddie to be the guy to come up with that hit, that has got to feel really good for him. It's got to feel really good, especially considering he was a very important acquisition for this team at the deadline, and they gave up a lot to get him. They gave up 2, I think, major league starting pitchers in Kolek and Bergert to go get him. So, Fermin's going to have an impact on this team, both what he does game calling wise, defensively, and also offensively at the bottom of the lineup as well. And he came up with a huge hit. Great moment for Freddie Fermin. Let's go to Scott calling in. Scott in Murrieta. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Sammy. It's great to speak to you once again. It's great to witness a postseason clinching victory. I have 2 observations. First, to the fellow Friar faithful, when we're watching the game, let's just assume that Mike Shildt has a lot more information about what's going on with the team than we do. So let's keep the quarterbacking from our seat to a minimum, because he's going to make the right decision. He's been a proven manager throughout this time. So let's just relax with the criticism during the game. And then the second observation, I noticed the Brewers' first base coach, their position's slightly more up line than David Macias. And I wonder if his positioning could be improved upon to maybe actually alert Jackson Merrill when that overthrow to first happens, where he could actually take that extra back. That way he can tag up to third base on that fly out by Sheets. So just a couple quick things. A win is a win, and we love it. Thank you so much, Sammy, for all the great work you and the rest of the staff do. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for the phone call, Scott. Appreciate it. I got to be honest. I'm trying to look here and figure out Merrill. To be honest, Scott, I can't even remember what that was. I think you're talking about, I don't think it was a fly out from Sheets. I think the throw on the fielder's choice from Sheets. I'm trying to figure it out here. Scott, I got to go and watch it again. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I'm sure it's something that happened. I honestly have to go back and kind of look at the plays again to understand what exactly you're referring to there as far as Merrill in first base and Sheets. So I will try to do that and maybe get back to you after the next break. But thank you for the phone call, and I appreciate it. Let's go to Al in San Diego calling in. Hi, Al.
Hey, Sammy. You got me there?
I got you loud and clear.
All right. Okay, two quick things. Number one, I love what Shildt said there in regards to, and obviously the organization has done such a good job of they got a goal. And I know it's easy to just say, just win a World Series, but that really is their goal. And, for someone born and raised in San Diego, it means a lot that the consistency of at least just giving yourself a shot. We don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs, but they're giving themselves a shot, and that's all you can really ask for. So see what happens. I mean, obviously it hasn't been a great month of September. We'll see what happens from here. The other point I'll make is I'm just curious, I really would hate to see the team take their foot off the gas here over the last week. And I know they got to be strategic. The only reason why I mention it is until we know that the Cubs are out or they don't have a chance of passing the Cubs, I'm just curious from your perspective how you think they play out the rest of the season, or at least this series against Brewers.
Yeah, it's a good question, Alan. Appreciate the phone call. Look, I would guess they're going to play it somewhat conservatively. Now, look, they're going to make sure guys get some time off, right? And here's the other thing. If they get to the series against the D-backs Friday, Saturday, and, there's no chance of catching the Cubs, I mean, I'm sure guys are going to really get some games off, and obviously they're going to have to line up their pitching. I do think first and foremost, and I think they're right for doing so, and I understand what you're saying as far as not taking your foot off the gas, but I do think they will likely prioritize getting this team right and healthy and rested and pitching lined up for game one, wherever that may be on Tuesday. Right now, it would be at Wrigley against the Cubs. You're right. There is a chance, but they're going to need a lot of help. Look, the Padres, in order to catch the Cubs, at the moment, they are 2.5 back of the Cubs, 3 in the loss column. Okay, so they're going to, number one, have to win a bunch in the next 5 games and also get some serious help from the Cubs, who have struggled. They've lost 4 in a row. I get that. But, Al, the thing I would say is the Padres could win out, and it still might not happen, right? I mean, you would need a lot of help. You really would. So I do think they're going to be focused on, first and foremost, getting this team in the best possible spot for a postseason series, wherever it might be. But to your point, look, you don't want to totally take your foot off the gas in the sense of, you don't want to be totally cold going into next week. So it'll be interesting, but I don't expect them to, be doing crazy stuff in order to try to grab that top wild card spot. I don't. I think they will prioritize getting guys healthy and rested and lining up their pitching, but you never know. You can still win games. You can still, like Mike was saying, go out, attack the competition and see where see what happens over the course of the next 5 games. So I think they got to balance it a little bit, but I do think they will probably prioritize getting this team in a good spot for next week, regardless of where the series is. Let's go to Juan, Oceanside. Hi, Juan. You're on the Padres Radio Network. Welcome in.
How's it going, Sam? Just want to say I appreciate all the hard work you do. You always do a great job. And I think I speak for all Padres fans when I say that.
Oh, thank you.
I also wanted to say what a great time to be a Padres fan. I think a lot of people from this city, especially people who are around my age, who are in their 20s, we've experienced some pretty awful baseball most of our lives.
Yeah.
So to see this team, from the moment we got Manny Machado to these multiple postseason appearances, I think right now, all the game stuff that happened, everything that's been a struggle this whole season, I think right now is a good time to just not think about it too hard and just appreciate the moment, because what a great time to be a Padres fan.
Yeah, I'm with you, Juan, and good phone call, and appreciate it. I think you're right. Look, obviously every season has its peaks and its valleys, its twists and its turns, and we've had plenty of that here in San Diego the past handful of years, despite this being a really, really, really successful era of Padres baseball. There, as everybody knows, there have been lots of twists and turns to these seasons, and there's been great moments. There's been, really hard moments. But I do think it is a good day to step back and reflect on 2 things. Number one, look, a lot of you fans out there know that, there were periods of time where the Padres did not sniff the postseason. So to be in a spot now as an organization and as a front office and as a clubhouse where it is the expectation to be in the postseason and you get there, keep in mind, tonight is just the 2nd time in the franchise's history that the Padres are going to the postseason 2 years in a row. This is not something that has happened very often at all. So it is a good moment to reflect on that and to appreciate that, and appreciate the era that the Padres are in right now. They made it in 2020. They made it in 2022. They made it in 2024. They made it in 2025. I mean, that's sustained success. Yes, the tough finish in 21. Yes, a really disappointing 23. But for the most part, this has been a really, really nice and successful era of Padres baseball. Certainly one with quite a different feel than most eras of Padres baseball. And AJ Preller deserves credit for that. The players deserve credit for that. The investment, Peter Seidler, the ownership group. I mean, there's so much credit for that to be spread around, and it's a good night to reflect on that. And look, nothing is guaranteed. We'll see what the postseason brings. We've learned here in San Diego, right? You have times where you go on a run and it's magical. You have times where you think you're right at the cusp and it doesn't go the way you intended. And we're going to see how the story unfolds. That's one of the beauties of the postseason and the beauty of next month. We see how the story now unfolds, but it is a good moment to really sit back and appreciate the long journey it is every season to just make the postseason and how special that is in its own right, and also appreciate this really fantastic era of Padres baseball. And I'll continue the thought one step further. It's not just about the stuff on the field. I mean, tonight was the 67th sellout in this building. I mean, it was a Monday night in late September, and this place was packed, and it was buzzing, and it was every bit of a playoff atmosphere. And the fans, you deserve so much credit for what you've created here, not just this year, but going back to 2022, 2021. I mean, it's amazing. It makes it a super fun place to work. It's a playoff type atmosphere mostly every night here. I mean, the players feed off it. I feed off it. The broadcasters feed off it. You deserve so much, and you deserve a championship, and I hope it comes this year for you. So it's a good night to reflect on that as well. The amazing support this team has received in this city, the amazing crowds, and you got to celebrate a really, really nice and memorable win here tonight. Well, step aside. When we come back, we may squeeze in a couple more phone calls. We'll take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow's game. Final score in 11, Padres 5 and the Brewers 4. Our post-game coverage continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you as we are now in the morning, Tuesday morning, 12:01 a.m. here on our post-game coverage, but we are still rocking with you from Petco Park as the Padres win it 5-4 against the Brewers tonight to clinch a postseason berth. Freddie Fermin, the walk-off base hit in the bottom half of the 11th inning, turning this one into a very, very special, memorable night here in downtown San Diego. We will squeeze in a couple more phone calls before we sign off here tonight. First, let's tell you about the Padres' Heart of the Order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the Heart of the Order, presented by Palomar Health, the official healthcare provider of 97.3 The Fan. Palomar Health, leading with heart for every patient. Palomar Health is reimagining healthcare.
Part of the order here tonight, the 3, 4, 5 spots. Merrill, Sheets, and O'Hearn. Remember, the Padres lineup a little bit different tonight with no Tatis, no Laureano in the starting lineup. So Merrill went 2 for 5. A couple of singles for Jackson tonight. Gavin Sheets, quiet night, 0 for 5. Ryan O'Hearn went 1 for 4 in this game. Sheets, though, did have the RBI on the fielder's choice that tied the game in the 10th inning, made it 4-4, and it would stay that way until the Fermin walk-off single in the bottom of the 11th. And that's a look at what the Padres' Heart of the Order did here tonight. 3, 4, 5 spots, Merrill, Sheets, and O'Hearn. Before we finish up with some of your phone calls, let's take a very quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard tonight.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Kind of a weird night where we only had 2 games aside from this one, and neither really that consequential. Braves beating the Nationals 11-5 in Atlanta tonight. The Cardinals beat the Giants 6-5 in San Francisco, and that's it. 2 other games aside from this one, neither one super intriguing as far as the postseason picture. The Giants have kind of fallen out of contention. They are now 3.5 games out of a wild card spot, so not much to talk about there. Very quick look at the uneventful out-of-town scoreboard tonight, but kind of nice. The eyes of the baseball world here in San Diego tonight got to see an incredible finish and a great win for the Padres as they celebrate a postseason berth. All right, before we get to our play of the game, wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow, let's quickly squeeze in a few other phone calls here. Let's go to Ryan in La Mesa calling in. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Sam, I'll be quick. How can Tony Gwynn Jr. break the star? The team effort tonight, you as well. And look at this team's coming together. The new guy, you see how grateful he was to be on our team?
Sure, yeah.
Doctor. I mean, let's think about this Colonel. But in Tatis, good for him for resting. And, you're a big shot and you're making all this money. But he's part of the team. I appreciate what our skipper said about Tatis.
Yeah.
Sam, have a good night. Be safe. Appreciate your time. Go Padres. Let's go.
Absolutely, Ryan. Appreciate the phone call. Look, it's unfortunate Tatis couldn't be a part of the celebration. He's been a very, very big part of this team. And I thought the point that Mike made post-game is actually a really good one. Look, you can say what you want about Fernando's season. In some ways, it's been a really incredible year. I know from a power slug standpoint, it's lower than what you would anticipate, but there are a lot of things that he's done exceptionally well this year, and he is no doubt a huge part of this team's success. He's a huge reason why they're in the postseason. He just is. And beyond that, another thing that's been really remarkable, and another reason why it kind of stinks that he wasn't able to be a part of this tonight, was the fact that he's been healthy all year, and knock on wood, it continues that way into October and throughout October, but he's played as much as he's ever played. And, for Fernando, when you think about his injury history, that's a really, really big deal. So he's a big part of this team, a huge part of their success. And in a lot of ways, he's had a really, really, really good year. So you're absolutely right on that. By the way, just to clarify, from what I understand, Tony did not break the star. From what I understand, it broke earlier, and apparently the fixes on the star did not hold, but it was already broken before tonight. I think Dave Marcus tried to fix it up a little bit, and unfortunately the fixes have not been long-term. So they're going to have to figure out a way to get the star back in proper working order. But Tony made it work on the big screen tonight. He was waving it by hand. He made it work tonight. Credit to Tony. But I do not think Tony broke the star. I do want to be clear on that. Let's squeeze in one more phone call here. Let's go to Renee, Spring Valley. Hi, Renee.
What's up, Sammy? Hey, so yeah, it's been a long night. It's been what a game. You know, the one thing I would go back to is the play at third base when Manny was running towards second, trying to scoop up the ball, and then he said waved it off. Like, remember the game before when we didn't get the run, and then Manny was able to. So anyway, that was an incredible. The fact that it didn't go our way doesn't matter. And when they showed it later, it was so instantaneous. There was no way they were going to overrule it anyway, but it was a great play. I mean, those are the kind of things that are going to really make things happen. Everything else being said, the one thing I want to ask about, you guys going to the locker room and getting sprayed with all that. I mean, I see on the television, please tell me, are they really drinking Budweiser beer and champagne? I mean, the Padres?
Well, I mean, my God! I've no input on the beer, Budweiser. I mean that's what Renee, and appreciate the phone call.
Sponsor, right?
Yeah, well, Renee, look, I don't want to speak out of turn here. I think that's in every clubhouse during these celebrations. So hey, you know what? It's a good beer choice, fine by me. I can indulge in a Budweiser. So from time to time. So yeah, I mean, hey, having fun. I think it's the same type of beer in everybody's clubhouse. I'm not sure how it works in Major League Baseball, but I think everybody has the same type of beer. All right, let's squeeze in one more here. Charles, Ramona. Charles, you're going to have the final word here on the post-game coverage tonight. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you for taking my call. Sorry, my voice is gone. I actually just got off the trolley and I'm heading home to Ramona. But man, I got off work today. Had no plans to go to the game, but I was just like, you know what? I'm buying the ticket and I'm taking me and my son to the game, and I am sure glad I did.
Yeah, nice.
What a game! Oh my goodness! And to be able to do this without some of our bigger names in the lineup.
Sure.
And just a team win all around.
Yeah.
Against arguably the best team in the league. This right here is exactly what this team needed heading into the postseason. I think it's a sign of things to come. We're gonna go get them. This is our year, baby. Let's do it.
Well, appreciate the call, Charles. And that's a really good call to kind of end on here tonight. Glad you got to experience tonight's game and hope you had a nice trip back on the trolley. And I'll kind of wrap up here tonight by saying what I said in the opening segment of our postgame following the celebration tonight. And that is what I really, really liked about this win and this game in this moment. It feels like this team has needed a moment like this after what's been, a pretty up and down month plus. And as this game got later, it just felt like a game the Padres had to have, with an opportunity to clinch tonight with a sold-out crowd. You had a real playoff-type atmosphere, playoff-type feel to this game. You're playing a great team, the Brewers, best team in baseball this year. This felt like a game they had to have as it got later, and they got it done. They found a way. They made big-time plays on both sides of the baseball, big-time plays defensively, made big pitches, and Fermin comes up with the big hit to win it. It feels like it could be, I don't want to say like a real turning point type moment, because this is a team that is sitting at 86 and 71 and could win 90 games, and they've been well over 500 all year. But it does feel like something this team could really build off of. Having a moment like this, a win like this to propel them into the postseason, a celebration like this. Make no mistake, you want to celebrate like they did tonight. You want to do it off a win. You didn't want to have to come back tomorrow and then, you've got teams playing before you, and then who knows, they might lose, and then you get in that way, and what if you lose? And it's not the same feel. This felt great tonight to win the way they did, the type of game they won, to celebrate the way they did. You hope it's a launching pad. That's the right way to put it, a launching pad into a big-time run. And we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out, but tonight was an awesome moment, and it was an awesome moment for the players, for the organization, and for the amazing fans here. So I'm glad everybody got to experience a little bit of it here tonight. Let's hear our play of tonight's game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
First pitch, Fermin swings, lines it into center field. That'll do it. Freddie Fermin walks it off as Bryce Johnson scores, and the Padres are headed back to the playoffs in 2025.
It was never going to be easy, but the Padres walk it off in the best possible way.
What a win, what a moment for Freddie Fermin, the walk-off base hit in the bottom half of the 11th inning to win it for the Padres 5-4 as they race their way to the postseason for a second consecutive year. Congratulations to Freddie on an amazing moment, and the Padres on clinching a postseason berth. All right, great job, everybody. I want to give a special shout-out, more so than I do typically every night, to Nick DiNucci back in the studio. Nick has been in the studio since well before 6 p.m. tonight. We are now approaching 12:15 a.m. here from Petco Park. Nick not only hanging with us throughout the night, but a lot of stuff going on tonight with all our great clubhouse interviews with Tony. Great job by Jesse, Tony, Dave Marcus, who sets up all that equipment. Great job by everybody. This takes a lot of different people to pull off this broadcast in any clinching scenario, and hopefully we have to do it many times more here before this year comes to an end. But great job by Jesse, great job by Tony in the clubhouse. He crushes those interviews. Great job by Dave, great job by Nick DiNucci, great job by Adam Klug back at home posting all the videos I'm sending them. It's a team effort here to bring you this type of coverage on a night like this. So just a big thank you to everybody. Great job by everybody as part of our Padres Radio and 97.3 The Fan family. Taking a look ahead to tomorrow, it'll be the middle game of this 3-game series between the Padres and the Brewers. First pitch tomorrow at 6:40. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:40. Right-hander Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. Left-hander Bruce Zimmerman on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the free Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game coverage in video form there as well. And again, I encourage you to go on our social media channels, 97.3 The Fan SD on X, 97.3 The Fan on Instagram. You can hit up my X Instagram at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. On both those platforms, you will find tonight tons of interviews from inside the clubhouse post game, tons of celebration content, champagne being sprayed, beer being poured. So if you missed any of that, you can go back to the social media channels and catch up and relive it throughout the next week or so as the Padres head to the postseason. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight in 11 innings for the Padres. 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. They left on 11. For the Brewers, 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They left on 12. Winning pitcher here tonight, picking up his first major league win. How about that? Right-hander Bradley Rodriguez, who improves to 1-0. Losing pitcher was Grant Anderson, who drops to 2-6. Time of game, 3 hours and 26 minutes. And the crowd at Petco Park here in San Diego on a Monday night, a postseason clinching Monday night, the 67th sellout of 2025, 42,371. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 6:40. Pregame coverage begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Nick Danucci, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. Again, the final score here tonight, in 11 innings, the San Diego Padres 5 and the Milwaukee Brewers 4. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody.